And we're live.
Did you tell us what your bandwidth was already?
Bandwidth for what?
The new home. Like, do you have 100 gigabit? 50?
Oh no. This is fiber. I'm paying business fiber at a. So no, it's going to be like 25 up, 25 down, Woody. Like it's not going to be like.
Which isn't luxurious, but it's totally enough.
It's enough for streaming. Exactly.
Yeah. But not.
Yes, it's not nice rates. It's slower. It's slower than the cable for sure.
Is it expensive?
Yeah.
Is it expensive? Yeah, about 150 a month for that, I think.
Yeah, I pay like 150 and I get 500 down and like 250 up, something like that.
Which
that's
is
Atlanta
stable, though.
Yeah, it's Atlanta.
Yeah.
The quality makes a big difference. The lag, the latency of the consistency of the latency between the packets makes a big difference. Like there's a lot to look for in a good. I have just spent a month doing hotel internet. And, I'd get them to run a good speed test, right? Like, oh, this thing's got like whatever, 17 megabit symmetrical internet. It's going to be great. And then I show up and it's like I'm multiplexing the internet or something. Like whose turn is it to get the megabits? Because I'll be getting none for the next 7 seconds as I try to tell a joke. And it's rough. Yeah, quality internet's a huge deal.
And then like what region you're in is important too. Like I guess it's game dependent. Like being near one of the big like 5 cities in the country, like might determine whether the game that you play has servers in that city. Like Atlanta's great. It seems like they just put servers in Atlanta because like the biggest biggest city in the southeast. So like seems like I'm always good with games like very, very low latency. I'm sure obviously New York, LA, places like that are great.
New York and Miami have transatlantic internet cables going to them, so they're usually well served.
It makes a lot of sense.
Have you guys looked into? I haven't looked into it at all, but a friend of mine is like super excited about like the future of this Starlink internet connection, where it's all satellite driven. I guess. Like, have you guys looked into that very much, or is it one of those like it's so far from?
That's going to be great for people who don't have and can't get like the stuff that we just talked about. There's no way that's going to be an improvement over fiber or cable.
But it'll be a huge improvement, like if you live rurally.
If you're one of those like that guy in the Hangout the other day who's like middle of nowhere Texas, like talking about like the guy just loaned him his $70,000 pickup truck. Like, yeah, take this, go for a ride.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That guy's going to get Starlink.
That is pretty sick. That like it's going to be like. Do you remember just a few years ago? It was like GPS on my phone is hardly working right because you're in the middle of nowhere and I can't text and I can't call. Like now it's going to be like you can be in the middle of bumfuck Egypt and it's like, this YouTube video had to buffer once. Can you imagine? Like, can you believe that? Like,
I don't like it. It's going to make horror movies even harder to explain their situation, right?
Starlink. So they say Starlink is going to be amazing. Zach just wrote 100 megabits up, 100 megabits down. That's a great number. I have gigabit. My life changed zero when I went from like, I forget, I was like at a 70 or 100 to 1,000. No difference. Like maybe the audio version of the podcast uploads faster, but basically no problem. Latency. Now, Zach said latency is probably huge. He's guessing, yeah. I've heard latency is not going to be a problem, but I just don't understand how a signal that goes to fucking space and back on hardware that's very difficult to update is going to be able to keep pace with terrestrial stuff.
Not only are you having to like span that gap, but you're also having to deal with atmospheric conditions, right? It's going through the atmosphere and you've got to be losing there's got to be some signal degradation there.
Gotta be. Yeah.
Like if there's cloud cover, if there's a thunderstorm right above your house and you're trying to like beam some sort of laser satellite signal down with internet and you're playing COD where like 2 ticks matter. Like I think it just can't be as good.
Towards the beginning of my trip, like the hotel offered Wi-Fi and it was this really historic, amazing hotel. And I'm so excited. And I'm like, the Wi-Fi seems down. And she's like, yeah. Did you see the dark clouds? Like, of course the Wi-Fi's down. Those clouds are so dark outside. Oh, silly me. I'm sorry. I should have noticed the dark clouds.
Yeah, dummy. Those aren't the easily pass throughable clouds.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what she was saying.
Well, the rain takes the internet and refracts it all around. Sometimes sends it right back up to space.
sounds sciencey. But anyways,
did you have
fiber?
Go ahead.
No,
I was gonna say, did you had like the satellites in your backyards growing up that you could point to like a million, not a million, but like dozens of different satellites and get like all the like Japanese channels and stuff?
No, my grandparents had one of those, but I didn't know that was an option. I just really got like a ton of shit tier channels,
infinite channels.
I can do one further back than that, Kyle. We had one my dad installed on the roof. It was an antenna that would rotate. It wasn't a satellite antenna. It was just a regular antenna. So you'd rotate it to get different TV stations.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we had that too at one point. Like I grew up in the South, really rural areas. Like cable wasn't an option growing up, and it still isn't an option for like where my dad lives. Like there is no cable. Mm-hmm. Like that's not a thing. You've got you've either got you've got satellite, you've got like direct TV, something like that for your like for TV stuff. And but no, we had that big fucking satellite dish. And I mean, it must have been bigger than 8 feet, maybe 10 feet across. Like the pole that held it in the ground was like 6 inches in diameter, metal pole concreted into the ground.
It's part satellite dish and kind of part skate park.
It looks like a radar dish. It looks like
you know
we
what's
could be
funny?
detecting MiGs with it.
I remember getting in trouble because we would play paintball with these shitty pumps in the backyard at my grandparents' house, and they'd be like, "Taylor, don't hide behind the satellite dish," because it'd just be pumps of paintball. It's like one. It was like, "It's great cover, like it's huge," and I'm 6. So
Grandpa's wrong. That was a great place to hide.
Awesome place to hide.
Yeah, my grandpa didn't care. My grandma did because he just
Woody,
keep it pointed at professional bull riding.